Hi, my name's Amanda. I'm a coach and a trance channel, and welcome back to my series called Spirit School. This is a weekly series where I invite the spirit guides forward and they teach us something new. I am a very deeply curious person. And one of my favorite parts about having this open communication with my highest self is being able to just ask an endless amount of questions and having an endless platform inside of me to just feel seen and heard and to have a back and forth dialogue with. And I have explored so many concepts with them, and it has satisfied my thirst for knowledge in a way that has been so satisfying to me. And I decided it would be fun to share that with you guys. And so I basically have been leaving it open to them to decide what what to teach us every single week. And the only ask that I have of them is that it be something that is outside of my frame of reference, something that I don't have much knowledge about, but that I would find fascinating. And then what I would love at some point in time is if there's something that you've always wanted to know or always wondered about, comment below and we can turn it into an entire episode so that it's not just about me receiving information that I think is cool, but that you have a chance to explore what you think is cool too. And we have this kind of like shared experience all together as a community. So the way this works is I just close my eyes, I tune in, I have no idea where this is going to go, and it typically builds on itself slowly. And so some patience is needed for the full picture to take shape. But that's kind of fun because there's kind of like this journey involved in how the information is fully articulated. So I'm going to close my eyes, I'm going to tune in, and I'm going to see what they have for us today. Okay, so I'm just going to share the visual that I'm seeing in my mind. So they're showing me this, it kind of looks like a comet or an asteroid flying through space, and it's moving extremely fast. Okay, where are you taking us with this? And they're just showing like ripples of, it wouldn't be air if it's in space, but ripples of, I guess, like what would look like air if something was really quickly like a rocket is going through the air, you see like the ripples kind of moving through it and around it, and that's an indication that it's just moving at an extremely rapid pace. And what they're, I think, trying to say with this is that it's moving through time, space time. Okay. Oh my God, I think I know where this is going. Okay. They're saying that it's not just moving through space, it's moving through realities, different layers and forms of reality. And they're saying just as we do. So they're using this asteroid moving through space as a metaphor for something that they want to explain about us. Okay, where are you guys going with this? So as we're moving through our day-to-day lives, we are experiencing time in one way. We are perceiving time in one way, but we are creating the flow of reality through the choices that we make. And that dictates how we experience this reality and also how we experience the nature of time itself. Okay, can you break this down? Explain this a little bit, what that means. So they're showing like how we age over the course of time. So we start as an infant and we slowly grow and we get bigger and we age in years. And our appearance changes and our physical development changes, which are all indications of a linear time. However, how we experience that development, what? There's a difference between how we perceive those changes that indicate time is passing and how we feel inside of who we are, which is a completely different experience of time itself. And so time isn't necessarily the passage of days, weeks, months, years, minutes, seconds, but it is our experience of who we are, what we see and perceive, and how we feel. And all of those things combined dictate how we perceive time to be, but that's not necessarily how time works on a larger scale. Interesting. Okay, what do you guys want us to know about this? How do I explain? Hold on, am I getting this right? So they're saying time is not linear. There are waves in fluctuation. Hold on. Time, is it that energy is linear or time is linear? So they're saying energy doesn't necessarily like flow in a linear straight way, but there's like ebbs and flows to it, and it's constantly moving and changing and shifting and swirling. And they're saying that time is no different. They want you to notice how sometimes you're experiencing things in life where you feel like time is going by extremely slowly. And sometimes it feels like time is just on fast forward. And it's like, oh my God, where did the time go? Why does it feel like it's moving so fast? Like I've just got here, I'm having so much fun, or this experience went by really quickly, or oh my God, it feels like this is never going to end. And so you are perceiving, so is time really what the clock is showing you, or is time your experience of who you are within that space? Okay, what else, where are you guys going with this? What do you want us to know about this? Can you explain this a little bit more clearly? Okay. We tend to base our value, how we perceive our successes and failures according to how much we can accomplish in a given amount of time. And we use our age as a parameter for dictating how we should feel about ourselves according to what we've done, what we've accomplished, who we've become in that time period. But it's limiting to do that, they're saying. You're not giving yourself enough credit to see the potential that's there that has been disregarded because we're so focused on the amount of time that has gone by, the amount of time we've took advantage of, the amount of time we've wasted, rather than the experiences that we had and how we've felt inside of them, how that has allowed us to learn and grow and show up for ourselves, and what that means in terms of how we're utilizing our time while we have it. And they're saying so many of you wish that you had more time. I wish I had more time. I wish time would slow down. I wish I had done this, that, or the other, and now it's too late. Like we're constantly looking at the time in order to dictate how we feel about who we are. And what? And it makes them, they're feeling like sadness inside of that because when you can feel in your heart of hearts that you are beyond time itself, like you transcend the idea of time itself. Time is simply a way, a perspective through which we experience ourselves in this lifetime. But when you can see the bigger picture, which is lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and all of these different experiences of the universe and reality in the world, you see that time plays no part in the development of your soul self. And when you can cherish each and every single moment of time, regardless of how you experienced it, then what? Then time no longer becomes a limiting factor to you in your life. It creates like um like a like a partnership that you have where it's simply how you're being asked to experience this version of you without allowing it to dictate what that experience is. You get to reclaim what you want that experience to be and what you believe it means about you. Okay. This is a little bit complicated. Um, can you either simplify this or explain what it is that you before before I started recording this, the biggest thing they said, you have patience with this today. And so this message I think is going to unravel slowly. So they're just reminding me, have patience, like we're getting there. Okay, where do you want to go with this message? And what else do you want us to know about this? So they're just asking me as well as you to tune in right now and recognize how you're feeling at this particular moment in time. And for me in particular, there's a little bit of anxiety right here, right now, because I'm making this experience mean something about me with how long it's taking for me, in my perception of how long it's taking for me to translate the message and to make sure I'm doing a good job and to make sure that you're enjoying this experience and you're getting something out of it and I'm feeling like good about myself inside of it. And so my experience of this moment in time is one of not good enoughness, is what they're saying. And I'm hoping that my utilization of this time is to feel better about who I am at the end of it. But in order to feel better about who I am at the end of it, I need to be willing to what? To allow myself to dictate how I utilize the time rather than allow the time to dictate how I feel about myself inside of it. There's this need to get there quickly. And if I'm not feeling like it's happening in the right amount of time that it should, I'm making that mean I am less than, I am unworthy, I am not good enough. And they're saying that I am using time to to reinforce the belief system that I'm already feeling deep down. But if I can see that the only time that's really needed to be focused on is the time that is right here, right now, the now moment, then I'm experiencing time in the way the soul self does. The soul self just experiences itself in the now. There is no, is it that there is no future? Is it is that the soul creates the future in the now? And if you want to be able to experience yourself in a certain way in the future, you need to be willing to allow that experience to unfold for you now. And then you're creating your future experience now. That's how you create your future experience, is by living it and embodying it now. So rather than it being this carrot on a stick that's always in front of you that you're always chasing, they want you to see that that is the carrot on the stick is an idea. It's a perception of what who you feel like you want to be in order to feel a certain way about who you are. And you're seeing time as the way to get there, but they want you to see that that is a complete illusion. If there is only the now and you're only focusing on the now, then you already have the carrot. There is no stick dangling it in front of you in some future reality because it's it's creatable here and now within you. And that is how you collapse time. And then your perception of time changes completely because you no longer see things as distant in the future and taking forever to get to and building towards and feeling this like constant roller coaster of emotions as you traverse time. And because you see that you transcend that. You create the reality that you want in the now moment, in the current moment as you're wanting to experience it. And then you no longer fall victim to the idea of time that you're believing is standing in your way from the version of you that you want to embody. What? And they're saying that is just one potential of coming here to experience your human reality, is being able to see this potential and choose it for yourself. And in doing so, you experience time differently, you experience yourself differently, and you experience possibility differently. And you begin to see through the illusion of lack that you perceive time to be like exacerbating that most people see time, they perceive time um, in a way that fuels their feelings of lack. It's always kind of leaving us feeling empty or yearning for something because there's always either too much of it or not enough of it, and it's never just right. We never feel just exactly grateful for the exact amount of time that we have. There's always something more that we feel like we wanted to get from it, or that we didn't get enough out of it, or that we wanted more of it. And it's blocking us from the reality that we want to be experiencing, which is already here, if you can see it that way. Okay. Wow. That is so true. I'm just like reflecting on that for myself. There's either too much time or not enough time, and I never spent the time that I had. I never feel like I spent it in the way that I made the most of it. Wow. Okay. And now they're bringing in when is this really what you want me to focus on? Okay. I I had a really good friend. I would call her one of my best friends. She passed a few years ago from brain cancer. And I always feel guilty that I didn't tell her I loved her, that I didn't compliment her more, that I didn't tell her how much our friendship meant to me, that I didn't spend more time with her, that I wasn't like as free inside of the time that I had with her as I could have been or wanted to be. And there was always like, I was always battling something internally, and I so desperately wish I could go back and change that time, or I wish I could have more of that time. And they're saying that there's um, a role that our loved ones play when they pass and they cross over onto the other side after they die, and they're in the spirit realm, that they play a role for us in terms of how we experience time as well. And part of that role that they play is allowing us to reflect on how we utilize time, how we feel inside of time. And although it brings up painful feelings, it is a lesson in terms of how we desire to experience ourselves in the time that we have left. And their presence, their memory, their energy that we can feel around us is there to remind us of the gift that they gave us, which is the possibility to experience time and ourselves within it differently. And they're always around us and there to remind us that we have that choice. And not to feel guilty necessarily, but to use that feeling of guilt to change how we desire to move forward in a new way. What are you trying to tell me? The guilt that's there for how we experience time and the desire to wish that we had experienced it differently, did something differently, said something differently, is coming from the part of us um, that what? that's searching for love and forgiveness from ourselves. We feel like it's love and forgiveness from them, but they don't need that love and forgiveness. We do. And anytime we're feeling guilty about how we showed up in a time that we cannot change now because it's in the past, we perceive it to be in the past, it's not the time that is robbing us from being able to change how we feel. It is how we choose to experience the guilt that's here. Because the guilt that's here in the now moment, we want to get rid of the guilt by wishing that we can go back and change something because we're perceiving time as linear and that the only way to get rid of the guilt is to go back in time and change something. But they're saying that that's not true. The way to change the guilt that we're feeling now is to be here with the guilt now. And that it's not the amount of time that's the limiting factor here. It is how we are choosing to face a belief system about who we are in the now moment that is bringing up the feeling of guilt. So the limiting factor is not the time, it's our willingness to face the shame inside of a belief about who we are. And the time that we perceive to be the limiting factor is actually the gift because it's offering us the capacity to grow and change and transform and transcend that limiting belief. Because we wouldn't have had the potential to have that experience in the past, feel guilt about it in the present, and then change it and ultimately change who we believe we are if we've never done the thing in the past that we're feeling guilty over. And so it's a gift. It's saying, here's an opportunity for you to transform who you are. And that is the gift that their memory and their presence that we still feel around us is offering us because all they feel is love. There is no resentment. There is no need for us to apologize to them. What they're wanting most is for you to give yourself permission to be free from the guilt and shame that you feel. And the memory of them that you're feeling guilty about isn't there for you to hold it over your head over and over and over again and to shame yourself. It's there so that it's there to offer you an opportunity to transcend, to transform, to feel more love, to feel more compassion. And in doing so, you perceive that time differently. Wow. Is there anything else you want me to know today? Yeah, they're just showing me, if you want to take this moment and put your hands on your heart and be honest with yourself in this moment about what you're feeling guilty about, where you haven't been willing to really sit down and look at that and feel that. And now you're being offered an opportunity to. You're saying that what you want is change, but you're perceiving change to only come through changing the past or changing the future. Changing who you are is not going to be done in the time as you're perceiving it. It's only going to be accomplished in the now moment and through your willingness to forgive. And when you do that, you transcend the limiting idea or factor of time itself. You're taking that power back that you're perceiving time to be taking away from you, that you can't feel peace in the moment because you made a mistake in the past and you have to correct it in the future. And they're saying, no, that is your perception of your reality that's creating that limiting factor for you. And the way to transcend that reality is to be in the now moment. The only moment that really matters is the now moment because it's here. It is where change and transformation takes place. Ah, change and transformation doesn't take place in the future because you don't get to that point. If your energy doesn't change, then you're always going to be chasing the carrot and the stick. And is that change? No. Your reality around you might change, but your experience of it will be the same because you yourself will be the same. And you're going to be continuing to chase that carrot and the stick. If you don't feel good enough now, then how can you expect to feel good enough in the future? If you don't let yourself feel good enough, then you're never going to feel good enough. Doesn't matter what you accomplish, there's always going to be some limiting factor that you feel inside of that. And so time is not going to give you what you're looking for. You will, in your willingness to, in the now moment. And that is the perspective that the soul self has that we as humans in our linear physical reality struggle with or see differently, and therefore maybe struggle with. Is that they only see and feel the now moment, knowing that they can change the now moment anytime they want to by shifting their own energy. And they create a future potential in the now moment by doing so. And that's why they don't have to experience time in a linear way that we do. And it's not that our experience of linear time is less than or bad or not as good or not as fun or not as optimal. It's that we wanted to experience it this way because of the way we want to experience time and transformation and ourselves within it that they can't do in their reality. So they wanted to come here and experience this one through us. And they just wanted to offer this new perspective so that you can have a glimpse of something that you may not have thought of before and apply that in whatever way you want to. Wow. Is there anything else you want them to know today? No, they're just clapping. Yay! What a cool perspective. Yeah, no, I've thought about time a lot, but I haven't kind of put the pieces together in quite this way before, and this was fantastic. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Spirit School today. That was so cool and so much fun. And if you liked this video, please click like and subscribe to this channel for more of weekly Spirit School episodes. And if there's anything on your mind that you're curious about, please comment below or privately message me on social media. I'm at Amanda Lauren Blau on Instagram and on TikTok. You can privately message me there if that feels more comfortable for you. And I can't wait to see you next week at another Spirit School episode. Have a good one. Bye.